Hey, welcome back, YouTubers. Today we're going to do the breakdown on Chapter 9 of this book, The Turner Diaries, and talk about how things are going in the book right now. So this chapter starts out with a bang. The the scene is set at like the Capitol building, and there's like live news coverage. There's like an emergency session of Congress and things like that. So there's high security there now. There's all kinds of fence around the Capitol building. Lots of National Guard and reservists. So the military is basically controlling the inlet and outlet of anybody coming into the Capitol grounds area. So getting anybody close to these people is going to be very difficult because they've all got higher security now. They're higher level of security. Everybody's amped up. Everybody's on like red alert status basically. So they're expecting to be attacked at all times. So they've got the military covering everything. And then, of course, you've got live news coverage for this going on, too. And then all of a sudden, hellfire starts raining, and, those mortars that Turner was helping, get a launcher constructed for. Well, they start landing all over the Capitol grounds, and they zero it in and start hitting the building. And it's on live television, so that kind of makes it harder for the news to spin it. Of course, the media is still going to spin it, or attempt to spin it, but the public actually gets a front row seat of what's going on, which works, for the guerrillas in one aspect because they're trying to create awareness and they're trying to, get people to come over to their cause. They're trying to get recruits. So the mortar attack and all is something that they're hoping is going to help recruit people because they're losing people left and right. Doing all these guerrilla activities, they're losing a few here and there. Turner's really unsure of how many folks are actually in his in the organization. He figures it's a couple thousand. So, through attrition, they're figuring they're losing more than they're getting as far as recruits go. So, also in this, they go over the different ideologies, how, they had expected the Christians to support them more, and they really didn't because the churches have been infiltrated by, the state basically, kind of like, the 501(c)(3)s and all that stuff happening now. A lot of churches really don't preach the gospel like it should be preached. They basically, bring Jesus down to a lower level, or a very soft Jesus. He's not hard. When in reality, Jesus was a carpenter. He was a man's man, and he was a strong person. He ran out the money changers and everything out of the synagogues, flipping over tables and beating them with sticks. So he wasn't a pussy. But since the Romans and that they've used religion to control people, and they've really watered down the message. So it kind of goes over a little bit of that. It goes into the libertarians. They were hoping that maybe they'd get them, but they tend to care more about themselves than the cause, which is a granted. And the conservatives, they basically knuckle under as soon as everything starts going wrong because they're too willing to compromise. So it goes over some of the ins and outs of that, which I think in any guerrilla war you would have that, especially trying to to get recruits or trying to get people to support the cause. So those things are touched on, which is really interesting. It also goes into, you know, kind of the dystopian part, you know, because, you know, there aren't as many jobs, and you know, everybody's all their food's rationed and everything else, you know, all the regular people. So you've got young people who really don't know what to do with themselves, and they're in Georgetown, and you've got, you know, young people just taking over buildings and stuff, and shit, basically making them into flop houses, and they're, you know, they're just doing drugs and chilling out all the time. But there seems to be some of the younger kids are starting to do stuff, but it's more of a, you know, us against the man or the cops. They're more like anti-police than anything. So that's kind of an interesting turn of events, and you know, Turner runs into one of them and kind of befriends one. So I guess we'll wait and see what happens out of that. So things are starting to happen quick, and you're starting to see different aspects of this dystopian world, you know, which makes it's really interesting. You know, if things get bad here with, you know, an invasion or something like that, how are things going to be? You know, if things keep going the way they are with mandates and things of that nature, you know, with the special sauce and being penetrated and all that stuff, you know, things could get a little weird here. You know, they kind of already are. You know, if you're paying attention overseas, what's going on in Australia, it's going kind of crazy. In Austria, they're going nuts. You got all these people are rising up against the different governments because they're tired of the oppression and tyranny. So, you know, it'll be really interesting to see how Turner deals with this, and how Pierce, the author, how he sees all this stuff. So stay tuned again tomorrow for chapter 10. We'll do the breakdown on that, and I'll check you YouTubers out later.